This is Dolynny TV, and guys, a big welcome back to the channel today, discussing the game preview before we head out on the ice at 8 o'clock for Hockey Night in Canada against the Anaheim Ducks. And guys, we're playing the Ducks in late March. That's exciting. That's a fun time. That's always good. Division rival late in March, sure. But what I like hearing a lot more is facing the Anaheim Ducks in late April. Unfortunately, just not going to happen this year. What can you do? However, that doesn't mean there's not a few reasons to watch tonight's game. Obviously, the number one reason, as I'll get to the lines right now, Draisaitl, McDavid, Kassian, the top line still. Well, there is only one effort that matters at this point of the season. Obviously, Connor McDavid's points matter, but not nearly as much as getting Leon Draisaitl to 50 goals this season. Gotta get Leon there. That is absolutely one of our most important things to do with the remaining little bit of the schedule left, right? We've got, what, 5 games, 6 games? Something like that. I don't know how to do math, apparently. We've got Anaheim, and then we've got 4 games. Yeah, 5 games to go. 4 games to go until we get up to that Calgary game, which I will be at, and you guys will be able to maybe come on and say hello if you're there as well. 47 goals for Leon Draisaitl in this season through 77 games. That means he's got 5 more games to get 3 more goals to get 50 goals on the season. Leon Draisaitl, you know how important that would be to Connor McDavid, right? Connor McDavid is a guy who elevates the players he plays with. Now, let's not pretend, because we've seen it all year long, that Leon Draisaitl isn't a guy that can elevate on his own. But when you put those two together and you throw a guy like Zack Kassian into the mix, it has been absolute dynamite down the stretch. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Zack Kassian was the turning point for this line, or Zack Kassian is the guy that gets it done. No. Thing is, what we all miss this time of year for some reason, because we all get wrapped up in things going right, is the fact that Connor McDavid just pours it on no matter what. Whether it be RNH and Ratty, whether it be him and Draisaitl, whether it be him, Draisaitl, and Kassian, he just knows how to take his game from here to here in the last 12 games of the season every single dang year. We've seen it. That's how he's won scoring titles, so we'll see what he does again with these last 5 games left on the schedule. So the other big news that we've got to get to, obviously, we start rounding the roster out for the next few years. It's Kara, Cave, and Chiasson on that, well, second line is what Bob Stauffer's projecting. I think it's going to be just a lineup match against the Anaheim Ducks a little bit differently, right? Kara, Cave, Chiasson, a line that can score, a line that can grit you, you know what I mean? It's a line you just slow the other team down, and they'll see a lot of ice time tonight, obviously, against the Anaheim Ducks, where you're playing for pride, you're playing at home, you want to give the fans a good show, so you want to get Draisaitl, McDavid, and Kassian as much time on the ice to do damage as you possibly can. That means, however, RNH is down on the third line. However, quote unquote, this has been the second line multiple times this year when you take a look at the combinations. Gambardella, RNH, and Gagne on that third line, projected by Bob Stauffer. Now, hold on, don't shoot the messenger is all I'm saying on this one. It depends on how the matchups play out, who gets more ice time between the Cave and RNH line this evening. Obviously, yes, RNH is going to have more ice time than anyone on the Cave, Kara, Chiasson line, because he kills penalties, he plays on the power play, and he plays strong 5-on-5, but just might be a different look tonight. Lucic, Brodziak, Reeder on that fourth line. Guys, I have no clue why at this stage of the year, after the Bakersfield Condors have clinched a playoff spot, why we would even waste our time dressing any of these 3 guys. I don't get it. I absolutely don't get it. So Clefbaum, Larson, Nurse, Russell, Sekera, Benning are your lineup combinations. I haven't been able to find a goaltender. We'll go to Daily Face-Off. We like doing that live together, I know. So let's go to Daily Face-Off and see if we can find ourselves a starting goalie for this Edmonton Oilers game. And nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. Canucks don't have a confirmed starter either. And unconfirmed is Mikko Koskinen, so we don't even have a starter for John Gibson confirmed tonight. So Mikko Koskinen actually really well-ranked goalie, number 54 overall, so he's been doing all right, I guess you could say, climbing up the ladder of ranked-up goalies in the NHL this season. So, guys, I've kind of run myself out of breath going through everything in the first 5 minutes of video, but you know, it's always a tale of two halves, right? You get all the information out, you get everything kind of put out there in the forefront, and then you start breaking it down a little bit, like I did with the Cave and RNH lines. But tonight, I guess what has to go right for the Oilers to go get Leon Draisaitl a goal or two and only make him have to score 4 in the next 4, or 2 in the next 4, or 1 in the next 4, it's realistically going to be a matchup line-driven game, like I was mentioning with Cave and RNH's line. And the key right there, if you're previewing this one and you're sitting there, okay, well, like, how does Ken Hitchcock do it right? It's going to be a lot of double-up shifts. It's going to be a lot of creative power play time. And what I mean by that, if you're going out there to get Leon Draisaitl goal 1, 2, maybe even 3 tonight, you have to manage the ice time perfectly, because you've got to remember that you don't want to lose them if you're coaching them to 50 goals. That's essentially what I'm saying. It's not necessarily something Ken Hitchcock's actually going to do. But if you're a coach trying to coach him to 50 goals, you want to manage it so as he can hit the milestone as soon as possible, but by the end of the year for sure. And you don't want him to feel like the pressure's on him. So you got to go out there and manage the shifts correctly. And by that I mean, on the power play, if he goes out there and gets 1 or 2 cracks right away, you just keep him going until he isn't getting the cracks and yank him. Because then you want him, the next time you're 5-on-5, you want to throw him over the boards and say, all right, you didn't get it on the power play, now show him what you can do 5-on-5. And you just want to roll them fresh. You just want to roll them hard. And obviously that means keeping McDavid and Kassian as fresh as possible. So if you're Ken Hitchcock, one thing you got to be preaching tonight, and one thing that is gosh darn hard to do against the Anaheim Ducks, especially when you're the Edmonton Oilers and they're such a strong Pacific Division rival, the hatred is there. We've seen it for years. Don't take stupid penalties. Just don't. Just don't. We're going to have enough of that in Calgary. We're going to have enough against San Jose. We just cannot afford to be doing that right now against Anaheim when we're trying to manage Leon Draisaitl as a team towards 50 goals, right? You don't want to sit here and have this season just go out on a whimper, basically, right? Making the playoffs would have been nice. Now it's playing for pride, and one of the big key things is you got to cheer your guys on to as much success as possible, and that is what I'm getting at when I say Leon Draisaitl to 50 goals is one of those successes that you can move on, take to next year, and be all right with. So that's key number 1, is manage Leon Draisaitl to 50 goals, whether it be tonight, tomorrow, the next game, or the next game. You've just got to do it right if you're Ken Hitchcock. For Kara, Jujhar Khaira returns to the lineup. That's good. Now with Khaira, I think the big thing is he's going to want to go out there and just kind of create the game he likes to play, right? So Khaira is a big boy who can muscle through guys. We've seen that several times. I don't have to explain that to you, but you know what I mean, is he's going to want to go out there, especially in a line-driven, matchup-driven game. You're going to want to go out there and create as much space, wear down as many people as possible, and try and kind of open the game up for the big dogs. And another big dog that we're all not talking about so far through this video, talked about his line, RNH has got to go out there and keep scoring career highs. We want RNH to look like that true #1 draft pick overall he is. And this year we've seen that. We have seen the complete development, the complete blossoming of Leon Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. See, can't even keep my train of thought on Nuge straight. But we've seen the complete development and complete blossom of these two players. Hold on. Give me a second here. There you go, Key. There goes Zap. So that's what I'm talking about. Is honestly, everybody just has to keep playing for pride, keep playing for, well, essentially good old stats. Just play for the stats. Nothing wrong with padding the stats late in the season when you're out of the playoffs. I know if you're playing selfish there is, but you know McDavid and Draisaitl don't play selfish with each other. RNH, he's a team guy. And the only guy that I need to play selfish and score a goal is Lucic, because, man, you got to get some points to salvage something ugly here. But will it happen? No. No, it won't, guys. I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Basically, it's a big old game tonight against the Anaheim Ducks, 8 o'clock on Hockey Night in Canada. Let me know if you're tuning in. I will, as always, reply to your comments in the comments section below, and we'll talk more later on tonight for the game breakdown. Hopefully, if I'm still alive. I'm pretty tired. I had a good sleep, but that zap on the door all night long. I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. I'm up on out of here.